What's going on, everybody? Just got through watching the Super Bowl between the Eagles and Chiefs. Chiefs won. I'm not an Eagles fan, by the way. I mean, I'm a Falcons fan, so we all know about 28-3, so be nice. But I picked the Eagles to win simply because I didn't know how healthy Pat Mahomes was going to be. And bad move to go against Mahomes because him and Travis Kelsey, they they pulled it out. So unfortunately, there's that. But in any event, we're going to jump right into our subject for this week. Kevin Nash. Now, if you're a fan like me, I'm a big time Kevin Nash fan, and he's highly regarded as one of the all-time great big men to ever step foot inside the squared circle. He had a brief wrestling career, not wrestling career, but had a brief basketball career, as some of you may very well know. And yeah, he killed it at the University of Tennessee. He also played overseas and had a pretty decent career overseas too. Of course, his calling was the wrestling ring. And so that's the subject that I'm going to be talking about this week is his wrestling career. So without any further ado, let's get right into it, shall we? Kevin Nash. Got my notes right here in front of me. Big Daddy Cool Diesel, Oz, Minnie Vegas, and Chet Lemon are just a few nicknames to describe the personas of Kevin Nash. The 6'10", 328-pound monster always presented a problem to everyone he faced, and his opponents knew that they were in for a long night. Nash will have a brief basketball career playing at the University of Tennessee. This week on Wrestling Quick Takes, I will be talking about his wrestling career to go along with some of his best matches, moments, weird moments actually, and a very interesting Hall of Fame story from Kevin Nash. Interesting run in to go along with some of his what is he doing today? Kevin Nash's career. According to BleacherReport.com, one of the most controversial stars of the last 20 years, Kevin Nash succeeded at the highest levels in both World Wrestling Entertainment and World Championship Wrestling. He became one of the most recognizable stars in the industry and created a Hall of Fame worthy career for himself. A heavyweight champion in both organizations, Nash has always managed to remain relevant, even as his age caught up to him. Call it the coolness factor or the fact that he is a political mastermind backstage. But either way, he has longevity in the business that most could only dream of. Truly a talented big man when motivated. Nash worked Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, and The Undertaker in some great some great matches while in WWE and had surprisingly good chemistry with Rey Mysterio during his days in WCW. An incredibly smart performer whose ability to stay ahead of the curve when it comes to pop culture helped revolutionize WCW and fuel the success of the New World Order. Nash did not get enough credit for knowing the audience. While he was garnered the reputation of a selfish backstage politician whose poor booking decisions continued the downfall of WCW. Nash did equally as much to ensure that the promotion reached levels of success that it had never experienced before. Without him, the Monday Night Wars may never have existed. It is difficult to make that sort of impact. Hundreds of wrestlers will come and go over the years without ever being a tenth as important to the history of the business as Nash is. So that's just a little backdrop on his career. You can find the story, full story of it at bleacherreport.com. Kevin Nash's weird career moments. Figured I'd switch it up, do a little bit of the not so great sides or moments. Number one, destroying Santino Marella in a singles match. Kevin Nash returning to WWE in 2011 for the involvement in the Triple H versus CM Punk feud turned out to be a huge mistake. Triple H even hinted at the move not working out during his interview on Steve Austin's podcast. There were some matches for Nash that fans don't remember that served as a test progress before his ladder match versus Triple H. Nash squashed Santino Marella on Raw in 94 seconds to create a match pairing no one could have predicted. Yeah, that match against Santino Marella wasn't very good at all. I mean, it really didn't know justice or no good. Moment number two, Chris Jericho cutting his hair. WWE had one of their rare hair versus hair matches between Kevin Nash and Chris Jericho in the summer of 2003. The the two were placed in one of the bigger Raw programs that summer, but the payoff coming on Raw made it less memorable than if it were a pay-per-view bout. Jericho scored the victory over Nash and started cutting off a few locks of hair before the show went off the air. Nash appeared the following hair there with a shorter cut needed for his upcoming role in the Punisher movie. However, Jericho cutting it without shaving his head felt weird for a hair versus hair stipulation. Moment number three, heel roster ruining his match versus Bret Hart. Kevin Nash will always name his biggest pay-per-view matches against Bret Hart among his favorite matches. WWE booked a huge title match between Hart and Nash at the Royal Rumble 1995 event, with fans of both performers being split down the middle. Quite a few top names from the heel side of things in interfered throughout the match until the referee finally called for a no contest. Shawn Michaels, Bob Backlund, Jeff Jarrett, Road Dogg, and Owen Hart all interfered for a match finish that had never been done before on a big stage. Yeah. That one wasn't good either. Number 4, Davey Boy Smith turning heel on him. The WWE Championship run of Kevin Nash in the New Generation era lasted about a year, with various new opponents stepping up. WWE didn't even wait for Nash to end his feud with King Mabel when they created another challenger for him. Davey Boy Smith turned on Nash in the ring for a shocking moment that came earlier than most would have booked it. Lex Luger, nearing the end of his contract and planning to leave for WCW, influenced the end of the Allied Powers team with Davey Boy. Final moment. Pretending he tore his quads at WrestleMania 31. One of the final big moments for Kevin Nash in WWE came at WrestleMania 31 during a match between friends from different chapters of his career. Triple H and Sting. Degeneration X coming out to help Triple H led to a shocking moment of the New World Order coming to Sting's defense. The ringside brawl between DX and the NWO members was the closest we got to a dream match. Nash fell to the floor and started grabbing his quad in pain. The moment ended up being humorous as Nash spoofed his old real injury, tearing his quad that had been joked about by future opponents. Yeah. Kevin Nash's best matches. Sorry about that. Throat. Number 1, Brett Diesel versus Bret Hart, King of the Ring, 1994. The first match of the Bret Hart Diesel rivalry was also one of the best. This match was crucial to establishing Kevin Nash as a serious competitor early in his career. Interference from Shawn Michaels almost helped Kevin Nash score the victory, but Jim Neidhart, who was in Hart's corner, saved Bret from losing his title by causing a DQ due to his interference in the match. Nash performed so well that this match launched Diesel into a Triple Crown champion. Match number 2, Diesel versus Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 11. Although Diesel was the babyface in this match, the fans were cheering for Shawn Michaels. HBK was red hot and on course to his eventual run at the top of the WWE. This is one of the best little man versus big man WrestleMania matches where it truly could have gone either way. In the end, Diesel retained the WWE Championship. This match should have been the main event of WrestleMania 11. Instead of the horrible Lawrence Taylor match that followed. Match number 3, Diesel versus Bret Hart, Survivor Series 1995. Bret Hart's feud with Diesel is very underrated. The two were huge stars at WWE during the peak of their rivalry and always put on a great show when they competed. Although Survivor Series 1995 wasn't the best Nash Hart match, it was the best match on the card. The no disqualification match between Hart and Diesel lasted almost 25 minutes and was very balanced and was a very balanced affair. The biggest flaw with this bout was the roll-up ending Diesel's 358-day run as champion. Yeah, that sucked. Number 4, Diesel versus Bret Hart, Royal Rumble 1995. There's often some debate over which of the Hart Diesel battles is the best. Dave Meltzer felt the Royal Rumble 1995 match was the best of the four matches. Bret Hart wrestled aggressively against Diesel in this match, which helped sell an interesting story between the two stars. Many fans don't consider this WWE title match iconic because it ended in a no contest finish that was very anticlimactic. Still, this one of the best matches in Diesel's entire career. Number 5, Diesel and Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon and the 1-2-3 Kid WWE Action Zone. It seems fitting that one of the highest rated matches of Kevin Nash's career involved members of the Clique. Their chemistry was always unquestionable. Although Diesel was early in his career, pairing him with Michaels helped elevate both of their platforms. X-Pac 1-2-3 Kid was never better than when he was paired with Scott Hall, Razor Ramon. All four future Hall of Famers were hungry wrestlers trying to make a name for themselves, and it showed with each spot. This match is a hidden gem. Now to Kevin Nash's interesting story about the year he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. And he had a very and this part of the show is very interesting to me. Because he had a friendship with the late great Mean Gene Oakland. And I'm gonna tell you what this part is real quick. Kevin Nash's interesting story about the year he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. According to TGRWrestling.net, on a recent episode of his Click This podcast, Kevin Nash talked about his friendship with legendary WWE Hall of Fame announcer Mean Gene Oakland, who had a legendary career in WWE and WCW, along with the AWA before his WWE run. As he continued, Nash also revealed that Larry Zbyszko was stoned during his Hall of Fame induction. Nash's story involves flying home from the Hall of Fame with Oakland and Zbyszko. He says, and I quote, "I went into the Hall of Fame in 2015. Gene is next to me. Zbyszko had gotten stoned before he went out and did the Hall of Fame. Of course, you think in your mind, get stoned and I'll be really entertaining." Larry got the Parliament Big Big Ben in European vacation and couldn't get off. So he couldn't so he came up and he walks by Kevin Nash. Also revealed that Oakland used his dry sense of humor to tell Zabisco what he thought about Larry's Hall of Fame speech. He goes, "Larry, he's on Gene's side. I'm C, he's D. And Larry is on the other side of Gene in the aisle." Larry says, "How was it?" Gene said, "It was the absolute drizzling shit." it's it's the rest it's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, Larry. Nobody would ever say that. Larry looked at him and he was waiting for Gene, and Gene just turned back to me and we were talking. We had already we had already had some drinks. We had drinks in front of us. Gene and I had drank the whole way to Atlanta. I think he would fly to West Palm and I would fly to Daytona. He he had to make a phone call. He went out and made a phone call. We walked out of the and I still call them crown rooms, even though they're sky lounges now. But back then, they were always crown rooms. We walked in there and we drank until it was the last call before our flight. We we were a gate apart. I know he got on that plane and got a drink the minute because I know I did. Wow. And finally, what is Kevin Nash doing today? So Nash is still signed to WWE on the Legends deal. But you can also find him on Twitter. His Twitter is a real Kevin Nash, or you can find him on YouTube via his podcast called Click This. Nash is one of the greatest big men to ever step inside the squared circle. So that was a little bit about Kevin Nash. And tell me what you like. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know what you think in the comment section below. What are some of your fondest moments of Kevin Nash? What are some of your favorite Kevin Nash moments? Let me know what you think. And until next time, God bless.